Hello, everyone, and thank you for joining me. I'm Jill Bloom, Group Publisher of Roofing Contractor, and welcome to our Best of Success podcast show. It's always an honor to have my good friend, Trent Cotney, partner of Adams and Reese. Trent, thanks so much for joining me.
Thanks for having me.
Well, we really appreciate your time today. There's a couple of topics that sound like are making your phone ring a whole bunch right now. But let's start with warranties and manufacturer defects. We both know that, anytime you're doing construction, there's a big difference between poor craftsmanship and a warranty. And what happens falls underneath that warranty. What does everybody need to know, and what's been making your phone ring? What are the questions being asked?
Yeah, so look, the devil's in the details when it comes to making sure that your workmanship warranty is spelled out, specifically. And keep in mind there are two primary warranties that any roofing contractor or any contractor are going to give a customer, and it's going to be workmanship and then the material warranties from the manufacturer. So one of the things that you want to do is, on the workmanship side, make sure that, you're limiting it, right? It's not an unlimited workmanship warranty. If, wind exceeds the design performance, clearly that's going to, void the warranty. If other people work on your work, that's going to void the warranty. If, wildlife damages it, if you fail to maintain, all those types of things you need to exclude. The one thing where we're seeing a lot of confusion and sort of, a need to clarify is when you have a manufacturer defect, right? So you've got, let's say you buy a product, regardless of whether it's, underlayment or if it's, a stucco mixture or whatever it is that you're going to use. And there's something inherently wrong with the material that was provided by the manufacturer. You want to make sure that in your contract and in your warranties, you are directing the customer to that manufacturer, and you're making the manufacturer warranty the sole and exclusive remedy as it relates to any manufacturer defect. Okay, so Jill, typically the way that liability works is it's top down. So if you are, let's say you're in the prime position, you're a prime contractor, you're going to be liable for your subcontractor's bad acts, the sub, all that kind of stuff. Clearly you can point fingers elsewhere, but ultimately you're the one that contracted with the customer. So you're going to have to fix stuff. What I want, those that are listening to do is to go into your contract and make sure that if there is a manufacturer issue, that the remedy needs to be go to the manufacturer to have a warranty, to have them honor the warranty. So you want to move them through that. And the language that you want to use is make it the sole and exclusive remedy with regard to any manufacturer defect. Okay. There's some other things that you can do as far as dispute resolution, channel them through arbitration, other things like that. But that's one of the things that I think really needs some clarity, is that you are not providing a warranty as to the materials, right? That's not what you do. You do labor. So I think that would help out a lot of contractors and trades if they had that in their contract and in their warranties.
Let's say I'm a contractor and I get a bunch of drywall or some roofing materials that are bad. I mean, clearly you want to help take care of that customer, but you have to also make sure you're doing things the right way. So you also don't want to look bad in the eyes of your customer.
Right. So clearly, absolutely, customer service always wins the day. Legal comes second. Customer service is always first. So what you want to do is act as a liaison, and your contract should explain that. Just say, look, happy to facilitate, happy to put you in touch, happy to, extend pressure where I can. But ultimately, if this is a courtesy, right? And you will have those contacts. So you may know the salesperson, or you may know the technical representative, and you can certainly apply pressure. And oftentimes the deals that are brokered to solve problems happen behind the scene between distribution and manufacturer and contractor. And one of the things that I think is really important, the critically important, is you need to fly information, right? If you get in a situation where the manufacturer is pointing the finger at you and you're pointing the finger at the manufacturer, the only person that benefits is the customer. So what you want to do is make sure that, distribution, manufacturer, contractor are aligned with a solution and present that solution as a unified force. Otherwise, you're just tearing each other apart, and you've got unhappy customer, unhappy contractor.
Yeah, 100%. Great
Yep.
insight, Trent. Thank you. And so let's also talk about heat and illness because it's August, nearing the end of the summer. It's still really hot in the majority of the country. What does everybody need to know? Are there any updates?
Yeah, so it just incredibly hot. We've had record highs almost throughout the entire U.S. And obviously, this is a very dangerous time for our workers that are out there. There are many state plans that have already adopted heat injury and illness standards, specific standards. Keep in mind there's always a duty to protect your employees from known hazards, right? But like Nevada and California, for example, have specific state standards that deal with heat injury and illness.
Mhm.
But the federal regulations have been going through sort of a rulemaking for OSHA heat injury and illness that started during the Biden administration. There was some thought that it may die on the vine, but it is still working its way through the process. So I've had the opportunity to sit in stakeholder meetings, and I've sat in various committees and heard the commentary on it. And I think what the attempt is now is to try to find something that meshes well enough with business, but still provides some more clarity with regard to protection. My concern has always been with the heat injury and illness standard is I don't want it to be a precursor to allow OSHA inspectors to come onto a job site just because it's hot, right? And use that as a basis to say, okay, it's hot. Now I see that the scaffolding is done wrong, and you've got four guys
Mm.
on a roof without fall protection, that kind of thing. So regardless of what rules are in place or not in place, you always have a duty to keep your employees free from heat injury and illness. And what I would recommend is toolbox talks on that, making sure that your foreman or crew leaders are recognizing known hazards, the signs of dehydration or heat injury and illness. Have plenty of water and electrolytes, on site. We had one fall that happened because the person cramped while they were coming down a ladder and fell off. So, and have, breaks that they must take, hydration breaks, right? And then the other thing, and, we say this in every single one of our discussions, Jill, document it, right? Document the training, document the breaks, the party with the best paper wins the day. So you definitely want to make sure that you're reflecting the good work that you're doing to protect your employees during hot times.
Yes, great advice, Trent. No doubt, it has been a hot summer all
Oh, yeah.
around, even for us. Record highs here and even in Michigan and the northern states. Well, thanks so much for your time as always, Trent. If anybody has any questions, how do they find you?
Sure, they can always email me, trent.cotney@arlaw.com, or they can go to anywhere on social at Trent Cotney.
Sounds great. And if anybody has any questions for us, it's roofingcontractor.com or wconline.com and sign up for all our free content. But man, in the meantime, stay cool, stay safe and healthy. We'll talk to you soon. Thanks again, Trent.
Thank you.